George Arnold, Sales Associate with Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate, GSA Realty. Today we're going to talk a little bit about buyer agency. George, good to have you.
Thanks, Chuck. It's great to be here.
You know, buyer agency has been in the news now for the last 6 months. Can you give me a little brief on it?
Sure. Well, things got started with buyer agency because buyers didn't feel like they had a say in negotiating their commission. Sellers had typically, prior to that, provided a commission and buyers agents went along with that. Now, with the changes from the National Association of Realtors, we need to have a conversation with our buyers, not only presenting the consumer notice like we always did, but also now negotiating price with the buyers and putting together a buyer agency agreement before we can start to show them homes.
So you're actually going to represent the buyer, is that correct?
If the buyer would like us to, that is the end goal. We walk the buyer through what that means, and the buyer has the option. So we have some negotiable items in the buyer agency agreement. One is the commission that the buyer agrees to pay us, and two, the length of time we work together.
Sure, good. So why should somebody use a buyer agent?
Well, buyer agency is important for a number of reasons. One, as real estate agents, we know our local market. We also know many times it's not always one lender is a size that fits everybody. So based on each particular buyer that we're working with, we've got lenders that we know will get a particular, that would be the right fit for a particular deal.
Sure.
And ultimately, we always give buyers 3 choices and walk them through, what these different lenders can provide for them, and they can shop lenders and, shop rates. And we walk them through that process. But not only that, then it's walking them through what's the best deal for a particular home that they're looking at. What's the competition look like in the market right now? Sure. Can we go in low? Can we go, are we competing for a home? And what's the best way to compete for that particular home? And doing what we can to help that buyer achieve their goal of home ownership and getting that home that they want.
Well, it sounds like a lot to me, but is there something that stands out, something that's more important?
I think one of the key things when you put together a buyer agency agreement with a client, that means that it's our fiduciary responsibility to represent them and their interests exclusively.
Sure, great. Is there any one particular area of buyer agency that stands out to you?
Well, I think that idea that we represent them exclusively, but also it's just looking out for their best interests, from helping them with lenders to looking at the home and being a second set of eyes as they walk through the house. They can see all of the good things about the home, but hopefully a good buyer's agent is pointing out to them things that could be a concern to them down the road. So what's the foundation looking like? Are we seeing any evidence of water coming in the basement? Just obvious things that we can help point out to them so that if it is the right home for them, they have a sense of what they might be encountering down the road.
Great. It sounds like a buyer agency would make great sense. Thank you. Thanks a lot, George. Thanks for being here.
My pleasure.